Hello, everybody, and welcome to training on the dosimeter management for our dental assisting program. My name's Colleen Mee, and I am the dental chair. And I'm going to go through this with you, and at the end, I'll provide you with my contact information should you have any questions. First of all, what is a dosimeter? Well, a radiation dosimeter or badge does not provide any protection, but it does detect and measure radiation that you've been exposed to. The badge will detect high energy beta, gamma, or X-ray radiation, which is what we're using in the classroom, ionizing radiation. Anytime anyone is taking an X-ray in the Ross Clinic classroom, all students and faculty, dental faculty, should be wearing their assigned dosimeters. Okay, so whether you've only got one student in the x-ray room and everybody else is seated at their desk, we all put our dosimeters on. It's just good practice and for everybody. Just as a reminder, when students are practicing their x-rays, they are only taking x-rays on the mannequin. There is no human x-ray practice on campus. So, our students and our instructors must be provided with an x-ray dosimeter that will be worn when they are taking x-rays on the mannequin. How do we do this? So, at the start of each new module, the lead instructor is the one who's responsible for ordering a dosimeter for every new morning and evening dental student, and for any new instructors that may need to have a dosimeter ordered. This is done during the very first week of each new module. So as you're preparing for the next mod start, that's one of the things you need to add to your to-do list if you are a lead. If you are a campus director and you do not have a lead at the moment, this is something you're going to need to coordinate with myself until we can get somebody into that role to take care of that. Okay, so don't let it slip. How do we order them? Well, it is all done by email. The name of the company is Landauer, and again, the first week of each new module. And when you send an email to place the order, you will first of all provide your contact information. You'll provide the student's name and full date of birth. That birth date is their identifier number. And then you want to order what's referred to as a one-time use dosimeter. Very important that you order this type. They offer various styles of dosimeters for different needs, and in an educational facility like ours, this is the type we use. So it will lessen confusion. It will, keep you from being delayed. Make sure you order one-time use dosimeters. Anyone who's pregnant, whether that be a student or a dental instructor, will need an additional monitor ordered. That's called a fetal dose monitor. And when you are ordering that from Landauer, you will need to provide the estimated date of conception and the estimated due date. So here you'll see the customer service email address, and when you email them, this will be nice because you will have a paper trail really of when you ordered things and who you ordered them for. We'll talk about the dosimeter binder that we keep as a reference guide as well, but having the email saved is also an assurance that you did it and when you did it, and you can always go back to that. Now, they do have a 1-800 number, and sometimes people get confused. They try to call and they order their dosimeters over the phone. The type of dosimeter that we use, the one-time use dosimeter, I'm going to be very repetitive today, is not something that they take an order over the phone for. So that 1-800 number is for you to use should you have questions like, I placed an order last week and I haven't received them. Can you check on it for me? Or, a question about how to return them, or something on the report that you've read, something of that nature. But to order, stick with your email. Now, I said just a moment ago when you're placing your order that you have to provide your campus information. Specifically, what you're going to add to your report is the corporate account number, which is at the top here, 705355. That's our corporate account number. And then you'll also provide your series, your sub account, and your campus ID number. So if you're sending out your email, dear Landau customer service, I am writing to you to place an order for Jane Doe. Her date of birth is 5/27 of 95. I need a one-time use dosimeter. Here is my campus information. Corporate account number 705355, series, I'm going to just take the first one off the top of the list, which is Charleston, series WV, sub-account Charleston, and campus account number 1433870. Okay, that's the information that needs to be included in your email. This reference list is also available for you in the curriculum shell. There is a link on the homepage regarding dosimeter ordering, or certainly if you have questions, you can reach out to me. Now, in addition to your email, which is, like I said, is a great reference, you can always go back and look at that as to when things were ordered, and it's kind of like a proof that you've sent something out for ordering. We still need to document that order in the dosimeter binder that you should have in your dental classroom. Just a 3-ring black binder. It should be well labeled. It should have a label on the front of the cover that says dosimeter documentation or dosimeter ordering or something of that nature. And then also on the spine should also be labeled so that anybody that needs to, get this book can find it with ease. This logbook, this is just a snippet of it, is going to include the person's name that we're ordering it for, their birth date, the date that you've ordered it. And so if I'm ordering a dosimeter for Jane Doe, I'm going to write her name in, Jane Doe, her birth date, 5/27 of 95, the date I order it, which would be, say, today's date, and then I leave the rest of that blank. When it's returned to us, then our receive date, I've got it on, whatever date, write that in. Make sure you do that right away. And then the return date is when you're sending it back to Landauer, and that will, remain blank until later on after the student has graduated and you're now returning it to be processed. The comments column doesn't have one solo purpose. It could certainly be left blank, but many of our instructors use this to designate, say, MDA or EDA. Is it a morning or an evening student? If it's a faculty dosimeter, they might write in a faculty dosimeter. If it's an externship student, then they might write in, this is for externship. So it's a handy column for you to make notes like that to kind of keep track. Another one would be, it's a fetal dose monitor, and this is for, because she's pregnant. So again, this is nice, especially for other people that may be looking at the binder, whether if you're the lead and your associate director or your RCD needs to look at this will help them to kind of put 2 and 2 together. Also, if you are being audited by the state, that also makes it very clear, concise record keeping for their purposes as well. If you need additional copies of this log sheet, they are found in the curriculum shell, and you can just download and print them, many as you want. So now when your order comes from Landauer, it will be in a package, and you're going to find that they will have the badges. It'll look just like this one over here on the left. It says Richard William. It'll have the student's name on it or the teacher's name. And then you will also find that a control badge comes with the order. The control badge is never worn. It is kept separate, and when the badges are time to return them, they will go back together to be processed by Landauer. They use that to compare the control to the one that was worn by the individual, just to, for processing. So let's say in this case, we ordered one for Richard Williams, his control badge came, those two would get sent back together for processing when the time came. One thing you need to be familiar with is that if you order multiple badges on the same day or in the same email, they will be bulked together. So one control badge will come with every order. So if I order a badge for Jane Doe and another one for John Smith, who are both new students, I will get their badges and I will get one control badge. Okay. Many times Landauer is very efficient. Many times if you were say I ordered first thing in the morning, I'm like, oh, Jane Doe needs a badge, so I place my order and I send it off to email, and then later that day you're like, oh gosh, I forgot the other new student, John Smith, and you send in a separate email, but it's still on the same day. They will often consolidate them together. So they're very efficient in that fashion. Once in a while they won't. Once in a while they'll go separately, but in most cases you'll find that they'll consolidate them. But in any event, it's very important to know that in most cases you'll only get one control badge, and that's all you need. All right, but they are not worn. Okay, they are kept separate so that they can be sent back later, and that assists in the diagnostics of the badge that was worn. All right, so now we've got our package, we've opened it up, we've separated them out, and we're looking at what we have in our hands. And the first thing I want you to do is record that date that you received the dosimeters in your dosimeter binder. All right, so write the date down. Again, all the dosimeters that were ordered at the same time will all be, in the same envelope with the control badge. Anything that's ordered together like this is referred to as a batch. And the batch of dosimeters must be kept together, and when the students have graduated, the batch will be returned together. Okay, they are returned together. So I ordered one for Jane Doe and for John Smith. They came together, they are batched together. One easy way to keep this simple so that you're not having to, look for things is to use a simple little tub like I've got here in this image. Got it at the dollar store. It's got a little lid on it. And then I use Ziploc baggies and a Sharpie marker. And I just write the student's name, Jane Doe, John Smith, the order date on there, and their badges and their control go inside that Ziploc baggie. And then the baggie goes into this little tub right here. Okay. This tub will have probably 6 or 7 or 8 baggies in it or more, depending on how many students you have and how many times you've had to order. But by keeping them separate, it will make it easier in the end when you're going to return these back to the company for processing. I have used this method for years, and I've not had any trouble with students locating their badge. So, for example, I say to the class, all right, everybody, we're going to take x-rays today, or some of you are going to take x-rays today. I'm going to pull out the little tub, so I set it out on my desk. They come up there, I ask them to take the baggie that has their name on it, pull their, dosimeter badge out and put it on. And at the end of the day, when we're, cleaning things up and it's time to go home, I tell them, say, all right, guys, we're all done for today. Please take your dosimeter off and bring it up to the desk. I need you to put it in the baggie with your name on it. Now we're dealing with adults, and I have yet to have a student put their dosimeter in the wrong baggie. It could happen, absolutely, 100% could happen, but I've not run into it yet. They seem to be able to read their own name and find their baggie with 100% success, at least from my experience, being a little sassy. But my point is that it's one less thing that you have to worry about. If they're taking care of it like that, then you're not having to sort them out down the road later. The controls don't have student's name on it. It just says control and there'll be a number on it. Keeping that control in the baggie with the student dosimeters makes it much easier for you when it's time later to send this back. Now, I've visited a number of campuses where they have a fishbowl, or they have a little box, or they have a basket, and they're all stirred in together. Sure, I can pull that fishbowl out and say, pull out your name badge, and Jane Doe can reach in there till she finds hers and pin it on. But where are the controls? Are they all in the bottom of the fishbowl? Which control goes with which badge? It's certainly possible to do it that way. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's less efficient, more time consuming, and should you be on vacation or off sick and somebody else has to do this for you, it will make it much more difficult. So simplifying the process is the key here all the way around. And we all are juggling a lot of balls, and time is always a concern for us. I think you'll find that if you're not already using this system, that this system will simplify things for you. Also, I've seen campuses have them all clipped because they have like a little alligator clip on the back. I've seen them clipped to a poster board or clipped to a ribbon that's pinned up on the wall. Yes, I think that's quick for the student, but again, where are the dosimeters and which dosimeters go to which badges? And And when they are hanging anywhere near the x-ray room, if they are, there is that concern, are they going to get more exposure to radiation than they should? And that, of course, isn't something we want to see happen. Now, when it's time to send these back, and I'll explain that process more in a moment, but when it's time to send them back, all you'll need to do is go to your bucket, pull out the baggie that's got the names of the students on it that you need, verify that they're in the baggie, and then I don't even take them out of that Ziploc baggie. I just put them inside my a manila envelope and address it to Landau or put the postage on, and I mail it. All right. So again, a very simple system here that I think you will find to be very efficient. All you need is a little tub, some Ziploc baggies, and a Sharpie marker. Again, remember too, any dosimeters that are ordered together must go back together. If you have a student, and I'll say this, I know I clipped this, I moved the screen ahead, but I just want to mention, if you have a student who has dropped for some reason, their dosimeter is held until the other student, let's say, we'll go to my example, Jane Doe and John Smith. John Smith drops. He says, dental assisting is just not my thing, and he's gone. You hold on to his dosimeter and you return it with Jane Doe's because they were ordered together, they go back together. All right. All right, now moving on to this slide. Where are these dosimeters supposed to be worn? So the dosimeter is supposed to be worn at your collar line, your neckline. So like in this example you see right here on this little image, that's where it should be worn. If you have someone who's pregnant in your classroom, they are wearing two dosimeters, right? So they're wearing their traditional at their neckline, and then their fetal dose monitor is at their waistline, okay? And, you know, in our office or our clinic situation, they're going to have their lab jacket on or their paper gown. The paper gown, they can pinch it to the gown. If they're wearing a lab jacket, they can clip it to their pocket. In this picture, of course, we see a young woman here who doesn't have either of those on yet, but it's a great demonstration of placement. When you have a student or a faculty member who does declare that they are pregnant, all right, it is, remember, HIPAA protects our health information, so they could potentially not tell you that they're pregnant, but if they do, then please ask them to do so in writing. What you need to ask them to do is to write, and it could be just on a sheet of notebook paper, or they can type it up on a Word document and sign it. They need to put their name, the date of the declaration was submitted and signed, their estimated due date, and their estimated date of conception. They basically say, you know, my name is Jane Doe. I declare that I am pregnant. My estimated date of conception is, my estimated date of due date is, and date it and sign it. That's all it is. There's no document. It's just a simple thing to do. Once they have done that and signed it, collect it from them, and then it should be scanned and uploaded to CView. So you could forward this on, if you're the lead, you could forward this on to your AD and ask them to attach this to that student's CView file. The original is kept in the 3-ring dosimeter, and you should probably have it, your dosimeter binder, tabbed to keep things separate. So you might have a tab for your orders, another tab for your reports, another tab for your externship documents, which we'll talk about here before we're done, and another tab here for, you know, our pregnant students and faculty members. When the student has graduated and is gone, then you may shred that original document because we still have the copy in CView. How do we return dosimeters? Well, it's very simple. And just a reminder, we do return all of the dosimeters that were ordered at one time back to Landauer as a set, okay? So Jane Doe, John Smith, they were ordered together, they go back together. It is very important because that's the rule. Dosimeters must be returned with their control badge, all right? And they also must be returned within 12 months. These one-time use dosimeters are only good for 12 months. That does give you a little window of time to return them because our program, I mean, it's about 36 weeks in length. So, there is a little window of time there. But what I'd like you to do is every mod start, as you're looking at that list, do I have any new students this mod? Do I have any dosimeters I need to order? Your next question should be, do I have any dosimeters to return? Okay, so look at your list in your book, in your dosimeter book, and see, are any of these students completed, they've graduated, can I send them back? We don't want you waiting until the last minute. So they although you've got 12 months before they expire, it doesn't mean we want you to wait till the 12th month to return them. Okay, so as soon as they've graduated, get them back to Landauer. You do not need to request a special prepaid postpaid envelope from Landauer. Just simply use a large mailing manila envelope, a fixed postage. Our campus all have meters. Here's a kind of a chart of what it might cost. This was a couple years old, so it's going to be similar, but it's probably went up a little bit. But you can see 1 to 24 badges is $3.66. So it's going to be around that price. Confirm the contents are in your Ziploc baggie, put them in the envelope, and mail it back to Landauer. Very easy. And I'm going to go back to saying Landauer used to provide, at first, many years ago, they provided free return mailing envelopes. They were pre-addressed and they had postage on them, and that was wonderful. But then they discontinued that, and then they came up with, if you need a pre-addressed postpaid envelope, you can order one, and they charge you for that, and it's not even a complimentary service. It's not like we'll send it to you and we'll just charge you what the cost of the envelope and the postage is. They actually charge a pretty good fee for that. So please do not request envelopes from Landauer. It's much more expensive than the, say, $3.66 that we have to pay here. Okay, just do it on campus. If you do not know how to use the campus postage meter, which is all online, ask for training on how to do that. Okay. So once Landauer receives your dosimeters and their control badge, they will process them and create a report. Okay. When Landauer has the report ready, they will email the designated campus lead and say, hey, your report's ready, come print it off at the website. All of our DA leads have been granted website access to open and print dosimeter reports. When we add a new lead, once I'm aware of who they are, I reach out to Landauer and I request that they have a login created. When that report is generated, not only will the lead get a notification, but I will get a notification. And I can tell you that I always follow up an email to the assigned campus lead as just a gentle reminder. Hey, so-and-so, your report's ready from Landauer. Please don't forget to print it and put it in your binder. And I send one out to everybody. I don't just send it to somebody who's a new lead and only has a month under her belt or his belt. I send them to everybody. So whether you've been with Ross for a week or 10 years or longer, I send you this email as a gentle reminder. I know that you get busy and I know you have a lot of responsibilities, but these reports are so important to us. First of all, we want to make sure that the reports are showing that there hasn't been any excessive amount of radiation, number one. But we also need these for compliance purposes. Our state, many of the states that we do business in, this is a requirement of the program. And then also too, if a student or a faculty member wanted to see the report, we have to be able to provide them access to that. That's also within their legal rights. And then finally, for compliance on a Ross level, we have to have these available. Now, the one thing nice about these reports is that they are downloadable. And so when you log into the website and you click on the report that you want, it will download to your computer. I suggest that you keep your electronic copy in a folder, maybe on your Google Drive, so that you not only have your paper copy that you printed that's available to you and it's in the book and everybody can see it, but that you also keep the others in a file on your Google Drive. Do you have to? No, that's just, I mean, they'll always be on the website, but it's just kind of handy. Many times the AD or the RCD is going to ask for a copy of the latest dosimeter report for compliance purposes. And if you have it in that file already, you can just go there and find the one you want and attach it to an email and send it to them without having to scan your paper copy or log into the website and find the one you need and download it and then go from there. So just keep that in mind. When we go to the Landauer website, myldr.com, you will log in and you will print the report. It looks like this one that's over here that's outlined in green. Again, put this in your dosimeter binder. Keep them in order so that they are by date. The most current should be, say, on the very top and the oldest on the bottom. And this would be one of the tabbed sections in your binder. Okay. Again, you may need to email a copy to your campus administrator for compliance. And so whether you decide to scan the original or, again, send an electronic copy, that's your choice. Okay, let's go on to externship dosimeters. Our externs do not take their campus dosimeter with them. That holds 6 months worth of data. It is very important that we protect that at all costs. Again, because this is a state regulated function in so many of our states, if that dosimeter were lost and we did not have a report on a particular student and we were audited, we would be we would want that. Let's put it that way, right? Because we're supposed to be providing that. So instead, we order a new dosimeter, and this one, of course, will only be worn during their externship. When do we order it? So Landauer takes generally about a week to 10 days in most cases to turn around and order. When they're extremely busy, I've seen it take as long as 2 weeks, but generally you don't have to wait too terribly long. So these are ordered the very first week of the student's last mod. So when they are a senior, this is when you are going to order them. So again, the first week of the mod, you're ordering, you're placing an order for all your new students. That's generally done on day one. So Jane Doe, John Smith, they're going to come together as a set. You're going to get your one control. That's fine. They're in the classroom. Now, students who are going to externship, these need to be ordered on separate days so that you get an individual control badge for each one. Because again, remember what I said earlier, if you order badges together, they will bulk them and they will only send you one control. Now, why do we need that, you ask? Well, these are going to be sent with students to their site. So Jane Doe, and I'm going to use the same names again. Jane Doe is going to the ABC Smile Clinic, and John Smith is going to go down here to the Smile Factory. They're going to different sites, and when they have completed their externship, those sites will be returning their badge and the control badge back to Landauer for us. And I'll go into that more in a moment. All right. So in order to accomplish that, you need to have individual orders on separate days so that you get separate control badges. I have had limited success sending an email with all my information. And I say, dear Landauer, Jane Doe, and John Smith, blah, blah, blah. I give them all the details and I say, may I please have one control badge for each of these 2 monitors? Or something like, please send me 2 control badges. I've occasionally had that work, but it's not consistent. So I don't recommend that you do that because you're rolling the dice. And if you do get your order back with only one badge, control badge, now you like, what are we going to do? And it makes a lot of work for everybody. So ordering them on separate days. So I would say, order on day 1, the first day of the new mod, send out your order for your newbies, get that done and over with. And then on the next day, order for your senior, his or her badge. Now, if you have more than one senior, it's going to take a couple of days. So, we'll just say the mod started on a Monday. So Monday, you ordered your dosimeters for all your new students. Tuesday, I ordered a dosimeter for one of the seniors. Wednesday, I ordered a dosimeter for the other new senior, and I had 3. So on Wednesday, I ordered the next dosimeter for that student. So that means, I got to do it 3 days in a row or 4 days in a row. Yes, you do. Uh, if you have a lot, if you had just a bumper crop of new students, say, 6 months ago, 5 months ago, and you had, which occasionally happens, right? Where suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, I've got 5 new students starting this mod. That can certainly happen. If you feel like you want to start the week before the mod, has ended, you may do that. All right. I always say do it the first week of every new mod because it's easy for you to remember for the new students and for your seniors. But if you have an extra large group, you can certainly start this process the week before. All right. But now I will tell you what I do when I am ordering for multiple seniors. I create my emails all in the same day, and then I post date them, and I copy and paste the information. So everything says, Dear Landauer, I am ordering a dosimeter, a one-time use dosimeter for Jane Doe. I give all my corporate information. I provide her due date, or not due date, her birth date and name. And then I basically copy and paste that into another email, and I just change out the name and the birth date. And if I have 3 of them, again, I copy and paste it onto another email, and I put in that person's name and birth date. And then when you go to send, you can hit send for one of them right away, but the other 2 down at the bottom of your Google Gmail, there is an option where you can delay sending, and you can actually choose the date and time that you want to send it. So you could say, I'm going to have this one sent tomorrow, and I'm going to have this one sent the day after. And then they're all done basically at the same time on your end. It's basically a set it and forget it. Once you have clicked on that and, requested the delay sending, then it will automatically happen for you. Okay, so you could have it sent off at 6:30 in the morning if you wanted, and it will, it will be sent. So that's a really nice feature. If you're not sure how to do this, reach out to someone on campus, and I'm sure somebody there can show you how to do that. You can always, and then, you may want to make a note to yourself, but you can always double check to make sure if you're worried about it, double check to make sure it was sent off by looking in your sent emails. Again, when you're ordering these externship dosimeters, they are recorded in your binder, just like orders are recorded in your binder for your classroom dosimeters. Every dosimeter ordered is always documented in the binder. That black book is like your, uh, very important record of who's had a dosimeter order for them and who hasn't. Now, again, these are only for externship, these new badges. And before the student can take that with them to their site, there is a document that they have to read and sign that explains what their responsibilities are. This document is inside the curriculum shell within that dosimeter link. So if you need it, you can download it there and make copies. I know many of you as leads have a folder and you have pre-printed off a whole bunch of copies so you can, have them on hand for when you need them. This could certainly be another, you could keep them as another, like a folder within your dosimeter binder if you wanted to. This is an example. It's not the entire document over here in this upper left-hand corner. It's a snippet of part of it, but basically it's telling them what their responsibilities are for transporting it, how to take care of it, what to do and what not to do. It's telling them not to open the form, not to open the envelopes that have been sealed. It's telling them not to leave it in a hot car or not to leave it in a cold car, not to bring it into their home and set it next to a microwave oven. Those things will, of course, damage the dosimeter. It tells them to make sure they leave it at their site when they're not using it, and that to take it off their garments at work and do not let them go through the laundry. All right. So there's a number of things that's telling them how to do that. Once they have read it completely, then we're going to ask them to sign. All right. This is a snippet from that last bit of the document. Lost or stolen dosimeters lost or damaged dosimeters, may delay your ability to complete the course or program. All right. We want them to realize that this is very important to them. We've bought this to wear it, and we expect them to wear it. We don't want them to lose it. All right. Now, as an instructor, I want you to review this document with them to make sure they fully understand their responsibilities. Please don't just hand them the paper and say, please read this and sign this, because I can tell you 9 times out of 10, they'll glance at it and go, oh, just one more paper to sign, and they sign it and they really don't even know what it said. So very important that you've documented this, or went over this document with them. Once they have signed it, then you are going to go to your instructor resource room, make a photocopy of it. This will be given to your externship student. While you're there, scan it and then email it to your associate director to have it uploaded to the CView file of that student. All right, and there's a place in there that looks like this AD dosimeter document where it will be added. The original signed document will be kept in the dosimeter binder. Again, another tab section. After the student has graduated, then that original may be shredded and disposed of because, again, we will have the original in the file for future use. So the student has read and signed their document. They understand what their responsibilities are. Now we have to make sure that we give them the dosimeter to take with them. All right, so how do we do that? Well, first of all, you are going to prepare, if you are the lead, a 5x7 manila envelope. You are going to pre-address it with Landauer's address. You are going to add the postage necessary. All right, and then you will also create an envelope, a white business envelope with just label it with like the doctor's office name on it or the site supervisor's name, depending on if you know it. You might say, I don't know the site supervisor's name, but I know it's, Dr. Ross. So I might write on there Dr. Ross and then write the student's name and then dosimeter. Lick it, stick it, shut. All right. You'll give both of those envelopes to the student and explain to them what they're for. So Jane Doe, my student, Jane, take these envelopes with you to your externship. On the first day, I want you to give these to your site supervisor and let them know what they are. Your dosimeter badges in here, also the control that they will need to hang on to send back later. And then this envelope we have addressed and we've put postage on it. Please ask them to mail your dosimeter control back when you're done at the site. Now, the site should already know. Career Services should have already mentioned this when they were setting up the arrangements, but we like to follow through because, dental offices are very busy. Who knows? Maybe the site manager that, had the original contact isn't even there anymore and it's somebody else. So, it's just, we want to be, we want to be a little bit like a broken record and have them hear this more than once. So you tell your student to, say that when they go. As a follow-up, when the DA lead calls to make their site visit calls, you should also remind them of the dosimeter. So while you're going through your questions, about how they're doing, say, by the way, is Jane Doe wearing her dosimeter while she's with you in your office? And they might go, yes, she is, or no, she isn't, or I don't know, right? So if she answers, I don't know, or maybe, then that's where you stop for a minute and go, you know what, I'm glad I asked then. Could you please make sure she's wearing it? It's important for us that she wear it every day she's with you in the clinic. And so just reinforce that with them, all right? And then additionally, remind them that the student should not be taking that dosimeter home with them. So again, at the end of each day, make sure that she's returning that to you or that you have a designated place that it's going to be stored so that they don't take it home and have something happen to it, all right? So those are things you'll say while you're on the phone call. Additionally, remind the site supervisor to mail the dosimeter and control badge back to Landauer after the student completes their externship. Remind them that they were provided a pre-addressed postpaid envelope, so it'll only take just a minute of their time to drop the badge and the control badge inside that envelope, lick it, stick it shut. If they say to you, gosh, I don't remember getting an envelope with, no worries. If you didn't, that's fine. I will get another one to you. So make another one out, pre-address it, put more postage on it. And if there's time, you can, fold it up and mail it to them. If it's, pretty short notice and that's not going to be the case, you could actually drop it off at the site. That's another option. But make sure that you get them another envelope if they need it. All right. We do not expect the dental office to pay for postage. They're doing us a huge favor by mailing this in for us. This externship student is not one of their employees, and yes, they're there and they've agreed to host them, but we want to make this as easy for them as possible, all right, so that they are compliant. So the site mails it back to Landauer, all right. It's going to take a week or two for that process to happen, potentially. If you don't hear, if you do not get an email from Landauer saying that your report is ready, then you should follow up with the site. So maybe 2 weeks has lapsed and you haven't gotten that email from Landauer saying your report's ready to be printed, then as a lead, I would reach out to that site and just call them and say, hey, just checking in with you. Have you had, I know you're busy, but have you had a moment to drop that dosimeter and control badge for Jane Doe in the mail for us? And many times when that happens, they're like, oh my gosh, it's sitting right here on my desk. I am so sorry. Yes, I'll put it in the mail today. And it's like, oh, no worries, no worries. I'm just happy that you can do that for me. Thank you so much. So you may need to do that sort of a follow-up. In the event they say to you, yes, I did mail it in, well, then just be patient. Hopefully it's going to be coming soon. If they say, again, I don't know where the prepaid envelope is, again, you're going to offer them another prepaid envelope. When you get the report notification, it's going to look something like this. Again, download it, print it, it goes in the dosimeter binder, it's scanned, and again, email it to your director to have it uploaded. Same process as the other. So I'm not sure where to find information if I forget some of what I've learned about dosimeters during this training. Where do I go? So number one, you can always reach out to me. This is my contact information. My email's at the bottom. My office phone number and extension are there as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need some help. However, you may very well be able to answer your own question by simply logging into Canvas and going to the homepage, and you'll find there's a link on the homepage that says X-ray dosimeter information. Your extra logbooks sheets are here, and your campus information is here. So there's a few things there that I think you'll find helpful. So if you need, always go there first. That may be faster for you, but don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need to. That concludes my presentation for today. This is recorded, so of course you can't ask me a question at this moment. However, if you do have a question, please reach out to me with that contact information that I shared with you a moment ago, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So I'm going to skip back to that page one more time. There's my email address, cme@rosseducation.edu, all right, and my phone number right there. And if you need any help with anything, please don't hesitate. All right, I'm here to help you. I want you to have all the information you need to be successful in managing your dosimeters. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.